Hello everyone, and welcome to the CWP, the official podcast for Winthrop University's creative writing program. Here on the CWP, we want to help lift up the voices of our student writers by providing them with a space in which they can share their writing, whether that be a short story, a poem, a personal narrative, really whatever writing they have produced and that they are proud of. We have a number of different stories from a variety of genres planned for the future, so stay tuned. Let's jump right into our first episode. I am your host, Julia Breitkreutz, and today Jacob Worden will be reading Michael Guidry's short story, Inside Kronos. This story was originally published in Lamplight magazine this past March. Michael is an author and marketing professional from South Carolina. He graduated from Winthrop with a degree in marketing, then again with a master in business administration. During his time here at Winthrop, Michael worked as a tutor in the Writing Center, as the editor-in-chief of Winthrop's literary magazine, The Anthology, and also as a small business consultant. His work has been published in Chilling Tales for Dark Nights, Everyday Fiction, Lamplight, and of course, The Anthology. And now for this week's selection.
Inside Kronos. She is the first child to survive. Sucked into the air, into the jaws, into the esophagus. Long fall into Kronos' stomach, lined with rubble, lined with corpses, surrounded by bubbling acid, surrounded by fleshy sacks of light clinging to the stomach walls. Few would all survive the trip, and never before a child. She's dressed in black, head to toe, brown hair sopped with saliva. Can't be older than 11. Wet bones and 2 shoes fall behind her. High heel and a sneaker. I glance at Mary Catherine. She should speak first. She speaks softest. "You all right there?" Mary Catherine asks. The child squeezes her hands into Kronos' stomach flooring. Very squishy. We all do it. Some more than others. "Yeah," says the child. Mary Catherine returns my glance. I send one to Greg. He shrugs and helps the kid to her feet. Her fingers continue to squeeze empty air. Greg kicks the wet sneaker. "Dad," says the girl, watching the sneaker bounce away. "Shit," says Greg. "Greg!" snaps Mary Catherine. The girl is unfazed. She observes our home. Her home. Picks up a wet bone, likely her father's. "Neat," says the girl. "Shit," Greg says again. Mary Catherine grumbles and approaches the girl. "What's your name, sweetie?" "Dragon." "Your parents named you Dragon?" Greg asks. "My parents are dead," says Dragon, and she tosses the wet dad bone over her shoulder. "Newcomer," calls Mary Catherine to the gathering crowd. A few gasp when Dragon steps out. 43 pairs of eyes fall on her. "But that's just a child," a man shouts. "No shit," Greg shouts back. "Greg, please." Mary Catherine covers Dragon's ears. I love her persistence, her preservation of innocence. She watched her parents get eaten alive. She held her dad's tibia. A little shit talk's hardly going to traumatize her. Mary Catherine rolls her eyes and removes her hands. "Should we tell the feed?" she asks. "I guess they should know," I say. "Not that it'll change anything." A woman from the crowd brings Mary Catherine the book-sized feed. We acquired it after the first and only rescue attempt, the newest tablet model at the time, a proclaimed miracle of modern technology. 2 generations behind now. Mary taps the feed screen to bring up the camera. "Say cheese," she tells Dragon, and I can see she regrets it. Dragon doesn't cheese. Someone should show her around, I say once the crowd dwindles. I give her the tour. I keep things light until she asks about the bodies. We carry them to the acid, The acid takes care of them. Bones last the longest, sometimes a week. There is no light way to discuss the dissolution of bodies in acid. And over there's the movie theater. I point to the tattered cinema sign amidst a pile of roof shingles and fiberglass. Dragon giggles. Have I missed any good movies out there? I ask. A couple. You're in one. They made a movie about me? I know this already from the feed, but I don't want to spoil our fun. It's about everyone. About Kronos. She rolls her head slowly, scanning all of the stomach area she can see. A couple 100 meters of chewed pseudo-civilization. I guess they did a pretty good job. Who played me? Some ugly guy, Dragon says, and we both laugh. Maybe I'll be in the next one, she adds. We're standing far from the rubble and corpses, on the acid shore, where a bile tide rolls and hisses. There you two are. Thinking of getting your toes wet, eh? Greg walks up behind us carrying a bag of stale chips. All chips are stale. It stinks in here, Dragon says. How can you eat? You get used to it, trust me. I can't even remember what it smelled like. He offers her a chip and she declines with a dramatic gag. You know they made a movie about us, Greg? I ask him. He doesn't play along. Of course I fucking do. I won an Oscar. Well, you know what I mean. Apparently Greg's character goes off on a famous monologue in the film. Mary Catherine's character wants to pray, and Greg says something like, "What's the use, Mary? You think God himself will tear us out with his holy bare hands? If God exists, we're already inside him." Greg has the full quote memorized. My character dies. You're skinny in real life, Dragon tells Greg. Yeah, well, not much to eat down here in case you didn't notice. He crumples the empty chip bag and flicks it into the green acid. It sizzles and pops before dissolving. Cool, Dragon says, her eyes on the bubble the bag left behind. You should see what it does to people. Mary Catherine lets Dragon sleep in her rebel pile. Hers is one of the biggest, the coziest. I spend plenty nights there, or used to. Dragon's in my spot. It's sweet of Mary and I don't mind. We imagined a kid in there before. A boy. A Lucas. The thought passed with our reality. Now there's a dragon. A little weird, huh? Letting the punk sleep where you two fuck? Greg says to me at the bar. A metal beam, probably from a skyscraper, lodged in Kronos' stomach. Relax, Greg. I've been to his pile a few times. Still walls. He paints them with buckets he found. Messy portraits of faces and memories. When we ran out of paint, he cried and hasn't shown a touch of love since. Keeps his wallet there, too. A photo of his girlfriend stays in the front slot, faded to pure white save for the ends of her hair. When I'm pissed at Greg, I think of his pile and his picture and his empty paint buckets. Creeps me out is all. She held her dad's tibia, you know? You've mentioned it, and she's not a punk. Only wears black. She doesn't have any other clothes. And the feed. God, the feed loves her. 1,000,000 posts about how something should be done. Someone should save her. She's just a kid. Best they did for us was make a damn movie. They want to help her because she's innocent. Innocent? You think any of us deserve this? It is what it is. My point exactly. Kronos will shit us out eventually. Child or not. That's life. Greg grins. Not so bad for you though, is it? You're still getting some. I barely remember my Sarah's face. You know how hard that makes it to jack off faithfully? He leans against the bar and looks out towards Mary Catherine's pile. Wonder what would happen if you knocked her up. But hey, guess you're kind of finding out. Empty paint buckets. They're building the biggest goddamn missile of all time. One by one, we pass around the feed, each of us getting a good look at the breaking news. We will combine our forces to deal a killing blow and extract the refugees from the creature's corpse. Our hope is to create a hole in Kronos' stomach with a specialized warhead. It would act as a drain for the digestive fluid and an exit point from the body. Early calculations suggest a 17% chance of an 89% successful mission. Reads a quote from the anonymous military source, close to operation. I don't think they know what refugee means, I say after reading. Greg holds the feed for an extra 2 minutes, his eyes bloodshot from staring. He passes it to the next person and lets out a deep, echoing laugh. Kronos eats a kid, so they're going to blow him up? Great plan if they want to kill all of us, he says, wiping an amused tear from his eye. That's the best their brightest minds could come up with? What would you suggest? Asked Mary Catherine, preemptively covering Dragon's ears. How about leaving us the fuck alone? He yells the obscenity. Even if we lived, what do you think it'll be like out there? There's no normal after this. There's no peace, no quiet. Our world ended once we got sucked up. We're better off with a natural death in here. They can't accept that. Greg inhales and blinks slowly, the red in his face draining back to white. Listen, I'm sorry, but if they try anything like that missile, our new friend here's no better off than her dad. Dragon gently lifts Mary Catherine's hands off her ears and says, That'd be fucking tragic. Mary Catherine sighs. From the mouths of babes, says Greg. Mary Catherine is crafting a message to send through the feed, explaining why we'd like them to consider a different approach on Dragon's behalf. I sit beside her in her pile, Kronos' stomach providing a soft cushion. Dragon is out exploring vacant piles to see if she can find toys or magazines. I can't believe we're listening to Greg, Mary Catherine says with a shake of her head. Even worse, can't believe he's right. It's not my favorite scenario either, but he's got our best interest in mind. Mary Catherine puts the feed down. What do you think it'd be like going back out there? I consider the question for a moment and rub her shoulders. Fleshy light sacs on the stomach walls jiggle and twinkle dimmer than before. We'd learn new things, find new homes, make new lives, popular lives. We'd be celebrities. They'd want books, interviews, campaign runs. Nothing like we've ever seen before. Greg was right. A world before is over. I continue to rub, making note of things I'd actually miss. The graffiti painted bricks making up the pile's left wall, the tattered books I read with Mary Catherine, walking with her on the acid shore, imagining Lucas. The gradual replacement of our old world memories with new ones. You'd miss your old life? She asked me, following a routine. She always expects me to change my mind. Less and less. It was lonely. We'll die in here. I shrug. Would have out there. With no sign of Dragon, we put Kronos' stomach to good use. Dragon manages to find a magazine and half a pen. Is this part of a master plan? Are you breaking us out of here with that? I ask her. We place cinder block and wood in front of us as a sturdy surface. Nope. Just screwing up faces. Dragon test scribbles on the cover of Home Biddings and flips a few pages in. A model relaxes in a black leather recliner. She inks out the model's legs and draws tears flowing down her face. Maybe you should draw something happy, I tell her. I am. Death will take her soon, just like us. She adds a slit across the model's throat. We could live a while in here. Kronos swallows new supplies all the time. We're gonna blow up. Might not happen, I say as she starts drawing a missile over an advertisement. Next to it, she draws Kronos and gives him tears too. Probably best if it does. Dragon puts a giant hole in Kronos' stomach with little stick figures spewing out. This isn't as cool as I thought it'd be. I get bored fast. Want to throw some stuff in acid? I ask. She drops her pen and races me there. We learned through the feed that our request for reconsideration was thoughtfully declined. The experts are outside of Kronos, they tell us, not within. They've put in only the best research for this project. Project, spits Greg, like it's a science fair or some shit. Project. God. He locks on Dragon. Why do we even tell the feed about her anyway? Do they have a history of responding well? We've all seen the fucking chrono activists. They might have experts out there, but we've still got our sanity. Most of us, whispers Dragon. Why don't you go play with Daddy's skull or something, huh? Greg, I start. Empty paint buckets. I don't want to hear it. Yeah, I'm an asshole. Sorry, I don't want to die for the sake of a future serial killer who, might I add, is going to die too. The small crowd around us thins with sounds of hopeless weeping and cursing. Mary Catherine comes forward. You send them a message, then. We did our best. She hands Greg the feed. Yeah, I think I will. Your best clearly isn't. I open my mouth, but Mary Catherine takes my hand. Greg trudges away. Let him be. Let him try, Mary says. He needs this more than we do. That won't change their mind. I know. I turn to Dragon. And this isn't your fault. Nope. It's my parents. They should have run faster. It's quiet at the bar. Greg isn't rambling. He's contemplating, tapping his foot, occasionally pacing, holding the feed, searching for words. I'm just trying to save us, he finally says with a sigh, resting against the beam. Someone needs to. Whether it's an ass like me, or Mary Catherine, or that little creep of yours, someone needs to. What'd you say in the feed? I ask, ignoring his instigation. I sent them a video. Quoted myself from the movie, you know. Did the God himself speech. Said that a fucking missile wouldn't solve anything. I said the girl was fine, that we all love and take care of her. She's happy, thinks it's all cool. A little over the top, probably. No such thing. Not in these times. Worst comes to worst, I'll beg for them. We can all beg. Beg for our fucking lives to a bunch of strangers. If he keeps swallowing cities, it won't matter. They'll have to kill him. I don't think Kronos can die, says Greg, digging his foot into the stomach tissue. He's beyond that. You should apologize to Dragon. If they go through with it, we might as well all be at peace. No apology necessary, my friend. I tugged heartstrings in that video. There's a reason they made me the main character in the movie. We'll be fine. Even the girl. Greg's video succeeds in giving the missile an endearing name. God himself. The people are calling it. The most popular article on the matter is titled, God himself will save the children of Kronos. Unfucking believable, says Greg. They should have at least called it Zeus, like in the stories or something. Assholes. Maybe it'll miss, Mary Catherine suggests, tugging Dragon close. Dragon pulls away and insists she's fine. Miss? How can you miss Kronos? Greg asks. I could direct the missile, drunk, with my eyes gouged out. We get it, I say. With no hands. They'll tell us what to do soon, Mary Catherine interrupts. Where to go, how to prepare. They want us to live. If they wanted us to live, they wouldn't be firing a missile straight at our home. Greg crosses his arms. I haven't heard him call Kronos home before. I'm sorry, Greg. We don't have a choice anymore. Mary Catherine clicks off the feed, tears peeking out from her eyes. It'll be all right. We've been through worse, I say, walking over to Mary Catherine. Worse? Yeah? Like what? Greg asks. Like this. I motion around the giant's stomach. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to us, and we've gotten by. Greg's lips flatten. I'll keep that in mind when we fucking explode. It won't be long before the military finishes God himself. Greg has asked me to take part in one final effort to prevent the launch. We don't meet at the bar or in a pile. He takes me to one of our most isolated areas. A tremendous slab of concrete and iron embedded in the soft stomach flooring, slanted upwards and overlooking the acid. The acid sluggishly eats away at the bottom of the concrete, shrinks a little every day. Could be pretty if there were water instead, white caps and a natural cliffside. Look, the kid is brave. I'll give her that. She's handled things well, so she's psychotic. Whatever. We all are at this point. Greg is folding his hands over each other and talking a little faster than usual. But that missile is for her, not us. I'm quiet. Greg is quiet. I understand. No, I say. Fuck, I'm not saying we murder her. Greg waves away my assumption. I'm saying we ask her to do it herself. Jesus. Would you listen a minute? If she stays, we all die. Violently. You, me, Mary Catherine, Dragon. There'll be fire and blood and screaming. That'll be her life story. Or she can be a hero. She'd like that, wouldn't she? Saving the world? It's not saving the world. It's saving us. So you see my point? You want to kill a child. I keep my voice level. Empty paint buckets. Greg's face distorts. He grabs his head and bites his lip, holding back a scream. I don't want to. I'm scared for Christ's sake. I don't want to die. Not after everything I've survived. If they wait longer, take their time, make a better plan, maybe I see Sarah again. Maybe not. But with this missile, no way. No way. It's all gone. My life here, my life there, gone, gone. Greg is in tears and falls through the concrete, sobbing in his hands. I'm scared, he repeats. I tell him it's okay. We'll be okay. Dragon and I stand on the acid shore, chucking in miscellaneous items we've spent the day scavenging for. I throw a vase. She throws a DVD case. I throw a picture frame with a stock photo family. She throws a tennis ball. We probably could have used that, but there's rackets around here somewhere, I tell her. She smiles and throws in her dad's sneaker. I didn't know she'd kept it. Why'd you do that? I ask gently. It was just a sneaker. She throws in a bottle of lotion. I could have given that to Mary Catherine. It was your dad's. Dragon stares at the bubbling acid and inhales through her nose. I don't smell anything now. That's for the best. I throw an air freshener. Lavender Joy. They shouldn't have killed you in the movie, Dragon says after throwing another bottle. You're the best one here. Well, they didn't build a missile to save me. She stops throwing and sits on the shore. I was kidding, I say. I told you it's not your fault. Greg thinks it is. Don't worry about him. He's got a lot going on. I hear my name. You have big ears, Dragon says, peering over her shoulder. Greg's eyes are red. Pale streaks run down his face. Sorry, she adds upon seeing his condition. Me too. Greg increases his pace and grabs Dragon by the shirt collar, yanking her off the shore. He takes a step toward the distant acid. I shout and wrap an arm around his neck, pulling him backward. The three of us fall to the floor, sinking into the soft tissue. Dragon is shrieking and scrambling to get away. Greg catches her ankle and holds it tight. I have to kick Greg in the face. My worn shoe connects with the bridge of his nose. He releases Dragon and she sprints from the shore crying. Greg snorts out blood and wobbles to his knees. I go over to help him. thinking he's had enough. He snatches my arm and pulls me down. We roll over each other, biting and spitting and clawing faces. The acid's hissing grows louder and the ground hotter. I smell something. Please, please, please. Greg repeats as we struggle. Please. He drives a thumb into my eye. I bite his arm. Fuck. Please, God. He's strangling me. His wild eyes search for something on my face. Please, please. I stick fingers up his nostrils, as far as I can. He leans back with a cry and I push him off of me. The top of his head touches acid. It sizzles. Greg's noises are inhuman. He bear claws to my legs and drags me toward the acid. My palms meet the wet shore, burning, stinging, hissing. I raise them to his face and shove. My feet are hot. I leap away. Greg loses balance. Acid engulfs him. He thrashes, sending small sprays of bile onto my skin. I can see his skull cap and ribs. His skin peels away in globs. Motherfucker! He screams. You killed us all! Green blankets him. He screams no more. Empty paint buckets. Most don't care. A few express brief shock before shrugging. Some say they aren't surprised. I say I did the right thing. Someone says, I guess. Mary Catherine lets me stay in her pile again. Dragon is okay with it. I lie awake in the corner, watching the fleshy sacks of light attached to Kronos' stomach walls. They pulse. They blink. I blink. One goes out, fading faster, deflates. I wonder how many have done that before, if they ever come back on. What they're there for anyway. Does he know we live inside him? We move, we build, we press, we drown, we burn, we melt. My hands ache. Mary Catherine wakes after a while. She rests beside me and puts my head on her lap, her hands in my greasy hair. A spot is missing, the scalp beneath it dry and red. She whispers many things. My attention drifts in and out, catching words, catching tears. I don't respond. I don't have words. I kiss her hand once and remember how mine used to look. She guides both of her hands to the top of her stomach. You'll be a great father. Dragon wants to walk with me. Her right foot drags, limping from Greg's attack. It's bruised. She names the bruise Greg. I'm carrying the feed, waiting, hoping for an update. A practice launch failure? A legislation to overturn it? Nuclear war? Wishful thinking. She holds my right hand. Likes the way it feels. Like sandpaper. I ask her not to squeeze too tight. She apologizes whenever I wince. Sorry. We follow the usual route, past the movie theater, around rubble pile neighborhoods, circle the bar. Then we reach the acid shore. The tide brought Greg's bones. His collarbone rests on the pink floor. Neat, says Dragon. I let go of her hand. Sorry. She leads me to the giant concrete slab overlooking the acid shore, berates me for not telling her about it, for having to find it herself. I tell her it's dangerous. She argues that our mere existence within Kronos is dangerous. Hard to debate. We sit on the edge and swing our legs over, let them dangle above the tide. Could be pretty. I can stay with you if we make it out, she says. She takes my hand again. Squeeze, wince. You and Mary Catherine. And Lucas. I can no longer visualize life outside of Kronos. I only see Mary Catherine, her pile, our pile, my hand on her stomach. I'd like having another family, Dragon adds. I'd like having a first family. You'd let me keep my name, right? I mean, It's my name, after all. Like with Mary Catherine, I fade in and out, my eyelids more like stones. Risky on this ledge, the pain in my arm keeps me conscious, worsened by contact with her skin. Dragon scoots closer, puts my arm around her shoulder. She weighs nothing. Has poor balance, a child, a baby. The feed lights to life. Behold the miracle of modern technology, commands a headline. Then a caption. A preview of this weekend's launch. Beneath it, a video plays, illustrating the mighty, intelligent design of the missile. A cheap graphic shows God himself ripping into dead Kronos' stomach to form an opening, detonating like a firework. Colorful squirts of computerized blood and acid and shredded viscera spurt from the wound. I imagine Dragon's stick figures from her drawing. There's one for me, one for Dragon, one for Mary Catherine. Hers has a round belly. I add Mary's pile. The bar, Greg's empty paint buckets. I hear the sticks screaming, crying. They splat and melt and explode and end. My life here gone. Gone. The video ends. Motherfuckers, says Dragon. They'll kill us all. I spot more of Greg's bones washing onto the acid shore. Waves of green splash far below us, closer than last time I was here. Our bodies are stiff and sore. Dragon says we should go. I need to stay another minute. We stand on the edge, stare at the shore. My hand shifts from her shoulder to her back. I press forward. It stings. I pull back. Dragon wobbles, catches herself, meets my eye. Empty paint buckets.
Inside Kronos was originally written for a creative writing theory class here at Winthrop. Michael told us he was inspired by everything from indie rock songs to giant monster B movies and, of course, Greek mythology. Keep up with Michael on Twitter at @MTGuidry. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you're a Winthrop student or alumni and are interested in submitting, you can reach us on social media at WinthropCWP or email us at winthropcwp@gmail.com.